Now, the Ethiopia-Djibouti line is the first railway to utilize a complete set of Chinese standards outside the country. From equipment to management, the export of Chinese standards sets a new standard for cooperation between China and Africa. Hu Chuchiao has more.
Western standards were once viewed as orthodox in the railway construction. But after rounds of negotiations, the Ethiopian government came to realize that Chinese production values were not inferior to Western ones. More importantly, they best suit the country. Utilizing Chinese standards doesn't just stop at the use of equipment, trains, and raw materials during construction. With this railway, Ethiopia also saw Chinese investment channeling into the development of industrial parks and other projects along the line, which will help create jobs and boost industries. To ensure enough manpower for construction and the future management of railway operations, Chinese firms also provided training in skill and knowledge to local technical workers. Over the past few years, more than 15,000 local workers went through various training programs. The Ethiopia-Djibouti Railway is one of many major projects currently underway as China and Africa deepens cooperation. More and more projects are set to pop up across the African continent, and they are expected to further drive modernization in an unprecedented manner. Hu Chuqiao, CCTV.
Now let's get you some perspective on that story. I'm joined live in our Nairobi studios by Robert Kagiri. He is the Director of Policy at the Africa Policy Institute and a specialist in infrastructure and development. Robert, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Penina, for having me.
So what impact is this railway line expected to have when you speak about economic development in the region?
Well, the opening of this railway is going to have a major economic impact on Ethiopia itself and the countries around it. For one, it will open up Ethiopia to the Middle East and Asian countries. It will shorten the distance, the time it takes to transport goods and services to those export markets, and also the time it takes to bring them in from those countries. So you're likely to see a lot of Asian and Middle Eastern countries set up shop in Ethiopia as a result. And you're also likely to see a great increase in exports from Ethiopia to those countries because of the new expediencies that are resulted from this railway.
And by when are we likely to see these economic results?
I think you're already seeing them because within Ethiopia itself, there's been a great increase in employment as a result. There's been a lot of knowledge transfer in terms of technological and engineering transfer of competencies. You're already seeing the likelihood that with what's happening in other neighboring countries in terms of connectivity, you're already seeing a great likelihood that in the next few years, the railway network will propel Africa's goal of connecting the whole of Africa, AU's goal of connecting the whole of Africa through rail. So this is an important milestone, and it also encourages other African countries to start looking to that direction in terms of the speed it took to build this and the conveniences it brings about.
And in that breath, let's talk about the massive SGR rail project here in Kenya, also being done by the Chinese.
Yes.
What are the likely benefits that we shall see from this project here in the East African region?
That one, the SGR project, Standard Gauge Railway project in Kenya, is likely to have an even greater impact because Nairobi being the center of economic activity within the region. So you are likely to see the first phase to Nairobi, Mombasa to Nairobi, is already near completion. And once it's fully connected to the neighboring countries, that is connected to Kampala and Kigali, you're likely to see the entire region grow exponentially in terms of trade, in terms of job creation, and in terms of general economic activity. So the SGR is the largest project, infrastructure project that has been undertaken since Kenya got independence. Mm-hmm. And within the region, it's one of the biggest projects. So we're expecting that as a result, the youthful and impatient Kenyan population and the regional African population will be will really gain from this and get a lot of advantages and growth. Yes.
All right.
Right.
Great
Yeah.
insights, Robert. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Penina, for having me.
Thank you. Robert Kagiri joining us here in studio.